You know, first game of a series, Spoelstra's a great coach. He'll make changes. But there are two big issues for the Miami Heat, and I don't see these two issues changing. One, they're falling apart. Dragic is hurt. And number two is, this is a bad matchup. Let's just start with Bam Adebayo, Miami. He's a nice young player, averaged 16 and 10 in the regular season. Against Boston, he looks like a great player. He averaged 22 a game. This is who he is. No, that's who he is against Boston, guarding Daniel Tice, where he can concentrate and be much more profound and dynamic on the offensive end because he doesn't have much of a defensive assignment. Now Bam has to guard AD and occasionally LeBron, which will mean more fouls, sap more energy, and he will not be the offensive player he was in the Boston series. This matchup is not changing. He's a kid. He's 23. LeBron and AD are not kids. They're going to go after him the entire series and should, because it will take his offense away. This is a problem. The Lakers' front line is huge. 6'10 AD, 6'10 Dwight Howard, 6'9 LeBron. They can bring in JaVale McGee. They are big and long and powerful and veterans. Miami's front line is 6'7 Duncan Robinson, who's a perimeter player, 6'6 Jay Crowder, and 6'9 Bam, who's a baby. They're going to have to play guys they don't necessarily want to play in this series. This matchup issue, Bam is a good young player. He averaged 16 a game. That's what he is. 22 against the Celtics, a very small team that scores most of their points on the wing and in the backcourt, is a different matchup. Boston was a very good matchup. This is a very bad matchup for the Heat and Bam. Here's the other thing. Dragic is now hurt. Oh, brother. And Jimmy Butler can get you 30 a night, but you're going to have to score 110 to 115 to win this series. Let's make it a math problem. Take out Jimmy's 30. Who's giving you the other 80? Because Bam's not dropping 22 a night in this series. He'll be down to 15, 16, 17 because his defensive assignments are going to be so rigorous. Can you imagine waking up? Who are you guarding tonight? LeBron and AD, and you're 23. So the issue is Dragic is hurt. So you're not getting offense there. Bam's defensive assignments are tougher. You're not going to get huge offensive consistent output there. You need Tyler Hero to play, and he is a defensive liability. You don't have a choice now. You need threes. You need somebody that can shoot. Tyler Hero's got to play because he's one of the great young shooters in the game. I mean, at times he looks like Steph. I'm not saying he's Steph, but he's a great young shooter, and he's a defensive liability. Lakers go right after him. Lakers are a bunch of old veteran players. They know the game. They know the sport. They don't have a lot of young players. They're going to go right after Tyler Hero. When he's on the floor, he is a defensive problem. But they've got to play him. It's a math problem. Jimmy Butler's giving you 25 to 30. Hopefully he doesn't have an off night. Where are you getting your points? You're not going to get them from Bam like Boston. You're not getting them from Dragic. He was invisible. Now he's hurt. You got to get him from Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, and both are defensive liabilities, especially Tyler. But you got to pick your poison here. You got to put him in, cross your fingers he hits his threes, and cross your fingers who he's guarding is not hot. Now, I don't think the Lakers will shoot like they did in the first half. Last night was one of those nights the Lakers just, and this is a Laker team, we can never figure out who's going to score beyond LeBron and AD, and last night everybody was hitting. KCP was hitting, Caruso was hitting, Danny Green was hitting. But that you got some issues here where it is a matchup problem. I mean, we watched Kansas City and Baltimore play on Monday. It's a matchup problem for Baltimore. It happens. You know, the NBA, it's like fights. Mike Tyson was a bad fit with Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield could take a punch. He could play the angles on Mike. He could deliver punches with Mike. He would get inside Mike Tyson. They could fight 5 times. Evander Holyfield was a bad matchup for Mike Tyson. Baltimore, Kansas City's a bad matchup for him. Boston and Miami, Boston is so small, it allowed Bam, a young player, to flourish. Defensive assignments weren't that rigorous. Good luck waking up in the morning if you're 23 years old, having to guard AD and LeBron. And Frank Vogel saw it. And by the way, LeBron saw it after the game. He said, I can't wait. Just listen to what LeBron said after.
I think you can learn so much more from a win than you can in a loss. And I can't wait to get for tomorrow for us to get back together and watch the film and see ways we can be better.
Just keep pounding the ball to Anthony Davis, force Bam to have to guard Anthony and LeBron. It'll suck points away from his offensive game, and it's a problem. Here's the other advantage to the Lakers. I mean, when you watch like that kind of dominating performance. Apathy sets in, right? Like the Lakers have to convince themselves for the next 3 games they play, we got to be mentally focused tonight or we cannot win. And now Dragic is hurt, and that plays with your head. Like, what can they do? But there's not going to be apathy in this series because the Lakers want to get the hell out of the bubble. You're not going to have your typical apathy in a series where you win the first 2 games, you go on the road, you mailed it. Lakers want to go home. Lakers are an old team. Lakers guys are married. Lakers guys got kids. There's going to be no apathy here. They want to get the hell out of the bubble, go back to Los Angeles, to their cribs in L.A. with beach views and their girlfriends, their wives, their I don't see a sense of an apathy, which is always a problem when you have a Game 1 blowout, is you have to now convince the veteran team, these guys are really good. That was an aberration. I guarantee you the Heat. Now, I don't think the Lakers will shoot that well. I think Spoelstra's a great coach. I still think Miami wins a game or so in this series. But the matchups and now the mounting injuries, I think Miami's in trouble. I think they're in trouble. All right. So it's going to be a very good NFL weekend. It starts tonight. Sam Darnold. I'll take the Jets, I think, over Denver. I'll watch it. I mean, the NFL's got so much power. I'm going to watch 2 bad teams play. I think the Jets, Darnold, probably find a way to win narrowly, but it'll be really ugly football. One of the more entertaining games this weekend is going to be Cleveland against Dallas. This is Baker Mayfield, who's been, to say the least, a huge disappointment as a number 1 on the biggest stage, playing in front of family and friends down in Texas. And Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, who frankly could be 0-3. They also could be 3-0, maybe 2-1. Baker Mayfield says, I am up for any kind of game we have to play.
When it comes down to it, we're playing the Cowboys defense, and we have to do whatever it takes to win. And if that is a shootout, then great. Then if it's another game where we have to control the clock, then we'll do that. So whatever it takes to win.
A no, if it is a shootout, it is not great. And this is going to be interesting for Baker Mayfield this weekend. He's going back home. He's got dozens of friends and family in a stadium who played some high school and college football. He wants to show off a little. Baker's got a little ego. Baker wants to show the world, I can go toe-to-toe with Dak. Baker, take a deep breath. We now have a clear and inarguable truth about Baker Mayfield. You can no longer argue it. The less Baker, the more they win. The Cleveland Browns are 7-1 with Baker Mayfield when they throw 26 or fewer times, and he manages the offense. Don't ask a lot from him. Let him manage it, hand it off, and make a handful of big throws. They are 8-17. They're a bad, bad football team when they ask Baker to throw 27 or more. You can no longer argue it. That's through multiple coaches. This GM and this head coach in Cleveland are brand new and have no loyalty to Baker. And they have discovered, to their credit very quickly,